randomly. That's why this message are called random access method. Second, no rules specify which station should send next. Station compete with one another to access the medium. That is why these methods are also called contention methods. In a random access method, each station has the right to the medium without being controlled by any other station. However, if more than one station tries to send, there is an access conflict collision and the frame will be either destroyed or modified. To avoid access conflict or to resolve it, when it happens, each station follows a procedure. So each station follows a certain procedure to avoid collision. The random access method we study in this chapter have evolved from a very interesting protocol known as Aloha, which use a very simple procedure called multiple access. The method was improved with the addition of a procedure that forces the station to sense the medium before transmitting. This was called carrier sense multiple access. This method later evolved into two parallel methods: carrier sense multiple access with collision detection, carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance. CSMA CD tells the station what to do when a collision is detected. CSMA CA tries to means carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance tries to avoid the collision. We'll see the Aloha first. The Aloha, the earliest random access method, was developed at the University of Hawaii in the early 1970s. It was designed for a radio, means wireless LAN, but it can be used on any shared medium. It is obvious that there are potential collision in this arrangement. The medium is shared between the stations. When a station sends data, another station may attempt to do so at the same time. The data from the two stations collide and become garbled. Pure Aloha. The original Aloha protocol is called Pure Aloha. This is a simple but elegant protocol. The idea is that each station sends a frame whenever it has a frame to send. However, since there is only one channel to share, there is a possibility of collision between frames from different stations. So this is the pure Aloha network. As you can see, frame 1.1 can be sent without any collision, whereas frame 1.2, frame 1.2, frame 2.1, frame 3.1, frame 4.1 are in collision duration. Again, frame 2.2 and frame 4.2 are in collision duration. And frame 3.2 can be sent without any collision. Pure Aloha. We need to resend the frames that have been destroyed during transmission. The Pure Aloha protocol relies on acknowledgement from the receiver. When a station sends a frame, it expects the receiver to send an acknowledgement. If the acknowledgement does not arrive after a timeout period, the station assumes that the frame or the acknowledgement has been destroyed and resends the frame. The collision involves two or more stations. If all the stations try to resend the frames after the timeout, the frame will collide again. Pure Aloha dictates that when the timeout period passes, each station waits a random amount of time before resending its frame. The randomness will help avoid more collision. We call this time the backup time TB. Pure Aloha has a second method to prevent congesting the channel with retransmitted frames. After a maximum number of retransmission attempts, Kmax, a station must give up and try later. So this is the procedure for Pure Aloha protocol. We have a start of the procedure and we initialize K value to 0. It will send the frame. It will wait time out time, which is 2 times the transmission propagation time. So acknowledgement receive or no. If acknowledgement is received, it is success. If acknowledgement is not received, the value of K is incremented by 1 and it will be compared with the Kmax value. If it is less than Kmax, it will choose a random number R between 0 and 2 to the power K minus 1 and it will wait the back of time period TB. TB will be R times TP or R times TF, frame time or propagation time. And again it will send the frame, it will wait time or it will wait out time. And acknowledgement receive or yes or no. If no, again it will check increment the value of k by 1, and if it is greater than k max, it will abort or else it will retransmit again. Pure ALOA. The timeout period is equal to the maximum possible round trip propagation delay, which is twice the amount of time required to send a frame between the two most widely separated stations, 2 times TP. The backup time is a random value that normally depends on k, the number of attempted unsuccessful transmissions. Vulnerable time. Let us find the length of the time, the vulnerable time in which there is a possibility of collision. We assume that the station sends fixed length frame, with each frame taking TFR seconds to send. Looking at figure, we see that the vulnerable time during which a collision may occur in pure ALOA is 2 times the frame transmission time. Pure ALOA vulnerable time is 2 times the frame time. 2 times TFR, which is nothing but the frame time. So as you can see here in this figure, B's end collide with A's beginning. So this is the B's ends. It will collide with the A's beginning. Here A's end collide with the C's beginning. So the vulnerable time is 2 times TFR, 2 times the frame time. Throughput. Let us call G the average number of frames generated by the system during one frame transmission time. Then it can be proved that the average number of successful transmissions for pure ALOA is S is equal to S is the successful transmissions. Average number of successful transmissions. S will be G into e to the power minus 2G. The maximum throughput S max is 0.184 for G equal to half. Slotted ALOA. Next ALOA we will see is slotted ALOA. Slotted ALOA was invented to improve the efficiency of pure ALOA. In slotted ALOA, we divide the time into slots of TFR seconds and force the station to send only at the beginning of the time slot. So in slotted ALOA, times are divided into slots, different slots, and the frames are transmitted only during the slot times. So these are the slot times. As you can see here, frame 1.1 is transmitted during the slot time. Here frame 2.1 and 3.1 will collide with each other. Here the frame 1.2 and 4.1 will collide with each other. Frame 2.2 will be transmitted successfully. Frame 4.2 will be transmitted successfully. And frame 3.2 will be transmitted successfully. During the collision time, the frames will collide. Slot 2 and slot 3, there is a collision duration. Slotted ALOA. Because a station is allowed to send only at the beginning of the synchronous time slot, if a station misses this movement, it must wait until the beginning of the next time slot. Of course, there is still the possibility of collision if two stations try to send at the beginning of the same time slot. Vulnerable time for slotted ALOA. The vulnerable time for slotted ALOA is TFR, frame time only. As you can see, during this frame time only, the collision will occur. A collide with C during this frame time only. That's why the vulnerable time is TFR. Throughput. It can be proved that the average number of successful transmissions for slotted ALOA is random access method. In this throughput, it can be proved that the average number of successful transmissions for slotted ALOA is S equal to G into e to the power minus G. The maximum throughput S max is 0.368 when G is equal to 1. Carrier sends multiple access. To minimize the chance of collision and therefore to increase the performance, the carrier sends multiple access method was developed. The chance of collision can be reduced if a station senses the medium before trying to use it. Carrier sends multiple access requires that each station first listen to the medium or check the state of the medium before sending. In other words, carrier sends multiple access is based on the principle sense before transmit or listen before talk. So this is the space-time model of the collision in carrier sense multiple access. So yellow is the area where A signals exist, gray is the area where both signal exist, and green is the area where B signal exists. A start propagation time during time T1, and T2 is the time at which C starts propagation, sending the data. Area where both signals exist, their collision will take place. Carrier sense multiple access. Carrier sense multiple access can reduce the possibility of collision, but it cannot eliminate it. The possibility of collision still exists because of propagation delay. When a station sends a frame, it still takes time, although very short, for the first bit to reach every station and for every station to sense it. In other words, a station may sense the medium and find its ideal only because the first bit sent by another station has not yet been received. Vulnerable time. The vulnerable time for carrier sense multiple access is the propagation time TP. This is the time needed for a signal to propagate from one end of the medium to the other. When a station sends a frame and any other station tries to send a frame, during this time a collision will result. So vulnerable time. So this is the vulnerable time. As you can see, the gray area, which is the propagation time, is the vulnerable time, and the yellow is the frame propagation time. Persistent method. What should a station do if the channel is busy? What should a station do if the channel is idle? Three methods have been devised to answer this question. The one persistent method, the non-persistent method, and the p-persistent method. These are the three methods that are being proposed. So behavior of three persistent method. So this is the first persistent method where the continuously in one persistence it will sense the channel continuously, whereas in non-persistence it will wait for some time and it will sense the channel again, whereas in p-persistence it will wait for the for certain amount of time, which is nothing but the probability outcome. It will wait for the certain probability of time. So one persistent method is simple and straightforward. In this method, after the station finds the line idle, it sends its frame immediately with probability 1. This method has the highest chance of collision because 2 or more stations may find the line idle and send their frame immediately. Then it uses this method. Non-persistence. In the non-persistent method, a station that has a frame to send senses the line. If the line is idle, it sends immediately. If the line is not idle, it waits a random amount of time and then senses the line again. The non-persistent approach reduces the chance of collision because it is unlikely that 2 or more stations will wait the same amount of time and retry to send simultaneously. However, this method reduces the efficiency of the network because the medium remains idle when there may be stations with the frames to send. The p-persistent method. The p-persistent method is used if the channel has time slot with a slot duration equal to or greater than the maximum propagation time. The p-persistent approach combines the advantages of the other two strategies. It reduces the chance of collision and improves efficiency. P-persistent. In this method, after the station finds the line idle, it follows these steps. With probability P, the station sends its frame. With probability Q, which is 1 minus P, the station waits for the beginning of the next time slot and checks the line again. If the line is idle, it goes to step 1. That is, it will with probability be the station sends its frame. If the line is busy, it acts as though a collision has occurred and uses the backup procedure. So these are the different flow diagram for 3 persistent method. If the channel is busy, it will check the channel again, and if it is idle, it will send the data. In non-persistence, if the channel is busy, it will wait randomly, and if it is idle, it will send the data. In P-persistent, it will look for if the channel is busy, it will sense the channel again. If it is idle, it will with probability outcome P. If it is greater than P, it will wait a slot, and if the channel is busy, it will use backoff as though collision has occurred. If it is idle, it will with probability P, it will check the probability, and if probability outcome is less than P, station can transmit. Carrier sense multiple axis with collision detection. The carrier sense multiple action method does not specify the procedure following a collision. Carrier sense multiple axis with collision detection augment the algorithm to handle the collision. In this method, a station monitors the medium after it sends a frame to see if the transmission was successful. If so, the station is finished. If, however, there is a collision, the frame is sent again. So this is the collision of the first bit in carrier sense multiple axis collision detection. So at time t1, first bit of A is transmitted, which will collide, and A's collision detection and abortion will take place at time t4. Whereas for station C, the data is transmitted at time t2 and the collision is detected at time t3. So this is the transmission time for C station, T2 minus T3, and the transmission time for A station is T1 minus T4. This is the collision and an abortion in carrier sense multiple axis collision detection. So this is the part of the A's frame where no collision occurs. This is part of C frames. The transmission time is T1 minus T4. Collision A's detect collision at time T4 and C detect collision at time T3. Minimum frame size. For carrier sense multiple axis collision division to work, we need a restriction on the time frame size. Before sending the last bit of the frame, the sending station must detect a collision, if any, and abort the transmission. This is so because the station, once the entire frame is sent, does not keep a copy of the frame and does not monitor the line for a collision detection. Therefore, the frame transmission time TFR must be at least 2 times the maximum propagation time TEP. So this is the flow diagram for the carrier sense multiple axis collision division. It will start, the algorithm will start, and it will initialize the value of K as 0. It will apply one of the persistence method, one persistence, non-persistence, and P-persistence method. If transmission is done, it will check for the collision detection. If there is no collision, it is success. If transmission is done and there is no transmission, it will transmit and receive the data. It will transmit and receive. Again, it will check for the transmission. Or if it is a collision detected, if there is no collision, it will transmit and receive, and the transmission will be successful. If there is collision detected, it will send a jamming signal, and the value of the K will be incremented by 1. It will check the value of the K with K max. If it is greater, it will abort. If it is less than K max, it will choose a random number between 0 and 2K minus 1, and it will wait TB time, backup time period. Energy level. We can say that the level of energy in a channel can have three values: zero, normal, and abnormal. At zero level, the channel is idle. At the normal level, station has successfully captured the channel and is sending its frame. At the abnormal level, there is a collision and the level of the energy is twice the normal level. A station that has a frame to send or is sending a frame needs to monitor the energy level to determine if the channel is idle, busy, or in collision mode. So this is the energy level during transmission, idleness or collision. So this is the frame transmission time. This is the energy level during frame transmission. This and this are the frame transmission times. This is during collision. Red one is during collision. The energy will be high during collisions, and this is during idle. During idle time, the energy level will be zero. Throughput. The throughput of carrier sense multiple access collision detection is greater than that of pure or slotted alone. The maximum throughput occurs at a different value of G and is based on the persistent method and the value of P in the P-persistent approach. For one persistent method, the maximum throughput is around 50% when G is equal to 1. For non-persistent method, the maximum throughput can go up to 90% when G is between 3 and 8. Carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance. The basic idea behind carrier sense multiple access collision detection is that station need to be able to receive while transmitting to detect the collision. When there is no collision, the station receives one signal, its own signal. When there is a collision, the station receives two signals, its own signal and the signal transmitted by the second station. To distinguish between these two cases, the received signal in these two cases must be significantly different. In other words, the signal from the second station needs to add a significant amount of energy to the one created by the first station. Carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance. In a wire network, the received signal has almost the same energy as the sent signal, but either the length of the cable is short or there are repeaters that amplify the energy between the sender and the receiver. This means that in a collision, the detected energy almost doubles. However, in wireless network, much of the signal energy is lost in transmission. The received signal has very little energy. Therefore, a collision may add only 5 to 10% and additional energy. This is not useful for effective collision detection. So, in carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance, it is designed for wireless communication. We need to avoid collision on wireless network because they cannot be detected. Carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance was implemented for this network. Collision are avoided through the use of carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance three strategies: the interference space, the contention window, and the acknowledgement. So this is the timing in carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance. So IFS is the interference space. So at the busy, when the channel is busy, it continuously senses the channel. If found idle, it will transmit the data. It will, if found idle, it will wait for the interference space time, and there will be a contention window. In one of these windows, the data will be transmitted. Interference space. First, collision are avoided by differing transmission even if the channel is found idle. When an idle channel is found, the station does not send immediately. Wait for a period of time called the interference space or IFS. The interference space time allows the front of the transmitted signal by the distant station to reach this station. It alters the interference. If after the interference space time, the channel is still idle, the station can send, but it still needs to wait time equal to the contention time. Contention window. The contention window is an amount of time divided into different slots. A station that is ready to send chooses a random number of slots as its wait time. The number of slots in the window changes according to the binary exponential backup strategy. This means that it is set to one slot the first time and then doubles each time the station cannot detect an ideal channel after the interference space time. Contention window. One interesting point about the contention window is that the station needs to sense the channel after each time slot. However, if the station finds the channel busy, it does not restart the process. It just stops the timer and restarts it when the channel is sensed as ideal. This gives priority to the station with the longest waiting time. Acknowledgement. With all these precautions, there still may be a collision resulting in destroyed data. In addition, the data may be corrupted during transmission. The positive acknowledgement and timer can help guarantee that the receiver has received the frame. Note that the channel need to sense before and after the interference space. The channel also need to be sensed during the contention time. For each time slot of the contention window, the channel is sensed. If it is found idle, the timer continues. If the channel is found busy, the timer is stopped and continues after the timer becomes idle again. So this is the flow diagram for carriers with multiple axes. So initially the value of k is assigned to 0. It will check whether the channel is idle or not. If it is yes, if the channel is idle, it will wait interframe space time, and if it is still idle, it will choose a random number between 0 and 2k minus 1, and it will wait FT R slots. It will wait for odd slots. It will send the frame. If wait timeout, it will check for acknowledgement received. If it is yes, it is success. If it is no, it will increment the value of k by 1. If k is 1s, it will abort. Or else, if no, it will again check for the idleness of the channel. It will check for the k equal to ts seconds. Carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance and wireless network was mostly intended for use in wireless networks. With this, the multiple access for the first technique is completed. Thank you.